3-month high yield rate, 3.56%, 3.56%, bid to cover 2.68, 2.68, the US selling 86 billion. Awarding 71.27% of bids at high. US 6 months high yield rate, 3.495%, 3.495%, bid to cover 2.84, 2.84, the US selling $77 billion. Awarding 4.57% of bids at high. NVIDIA buys open source workload management provider.
Okay, everybody. Welcome to the Pro Trade Room Plus and the NOPA Crush report. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. All the trades we discuss for educational purposes. Okay. I'm watching soybeans on the right, and I've got soybean oil on the left. Now, we should adjust our trading hours template. Let me show you how to do it. Because grains trade at different times than many of the other instruments that we trade.
NVIDIA say they are to continue to develop and distribute Slurm as an open source.
And then we'll talk about the possible issues that we're facing with this event. First things first, right-click the chart, go to Data Series, Trading Hours, Default 24/7. That's the correct template for grains. Default 24/7. Apply it and OK it. And do the same thing if you're watching soy or you have soybean oil on the right. Right click, Data Series, Use Instrument Settings gets changed under Trading Hours to Default 24/7. Apply it and OK it. While you're there, make sure your days to load is no more than 5 days to load. If you're loading more days than that, you should not do that if you're going to trade news events. It slows the platform down. So you want to keep things as lean as possible when you trade news. Now, there are a collection of problems, issues, unknowns about NOPA. So first of all, what is NOPA? National Oilseed Producers Association. So it's an oilseed futures trade. 3 years ago, we started trading NOPA. One of our members told us about it. We tested the setup, and it worked really well. The first year, almost every month was a winner. And it became a family money trade. And then the next year, it was really uneven. It had some winners, some losers. It was much harder to trade. And now, this year's been pretty much a virtual disaster for this report. It's not like a report that blows up your account when it doesn't work. It's only, what was it, $6 a tick? And it's not a giant mover. It doesn't like whipsaw 50 ticks. It's just not that kind of report. But this year, let me give you the history of the report this year. Going back to March. March, it was a winner, 20 ticks. It moved 20 ticks. Let's look at the DMM too. We do have a DMM set up for it. All right. Um, but you could see what's happened ever after the tariffs. April, NOPA moved over 100 ticks because of tariffs. Excuse me. Then in May, the market was limit, meaning it went up or down so much that the market was closed. And that happened before we got there. So we couldn't trade. The market was closed. I don't remember if it was limit up or limit down, but nevertheless, in May it had moved so much before the NOPA report came out, the market was unable to, it was not open. It hit its limit. Limit is when, if a market moves so much, there's a setting called limits up or limits down, and it then turns off that market until the next official open. Now, if it happens to the indexes, usually with the MNQ or the NQ or the YM, they don't wait until the next official open. They don't keep the indexes closed for that long. Usually it's a couple of minutes. It's pretty rare, but it happened during the pandemic. If I remember correctly, we saw it in the indexes. I don't think it's anything has approached it since. It's very rare in the indexes for something like that to happen. It's very rare in the grains, but it's a tiny bit more common in the grains. It's a possibility. I've seen it happen during a WASD report many years ago, but it is the kind of thing that you don't really expect. It might happen. It would be a rarity if it did. But you just want to know that it's possible. It could happen, but I certainly don't anticipate it. Certainly not today. So going back to the history of the report. So March, it was a medium move. April, a gigantic move that we made money on, 120 ticks over 3 minutes. As I said, May was limit, couldn't trade it. In June, it was a bad fill, a bad fill and a stop. And then the misery really began. July, should not have traded it. I should have canceled it. I foolishly traded it. We got stopped. But it was a theoretical cancel. It didn't fill. And I still let it fill. And one of the reasons for that is this is a report. It doesn't show up in the calendars. The only way you know if the report's out usually is it fills. Usually it fills with a serious bit of movement. That particular month, it really didn't move very well. And then August was canceled, no move. September canceled, no move. October, it was dull, but it was possible to get a little bit of profit if you waited. And then November was kind of interesting. It was a cancel. It didn't fill for like a minute, 45 seconds. But if you just waited and stayed in the trade, it took 5 minutes, but it moved 22 ticks. And what was interesting, it was moving towards the high of the day. So there was a valid reason not to cancel the trade because it looked like it was going to test the high, and it did. Now today, unfortunately, it's testing the low right now. So I'm probably not going to wait around very much today. If we don't get a pop or a drop within 40 seconds, I'll probably cancel. But I will put a reverse continuation on the chart. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. The instrument we're trading is ZL space 01-26 in NinjaTrader. Soybean oil. It's pretty low volume. It's not a very liquid instrument, but it's tradable. It's tradable. If there's a decent move, we've had a lot of winning trades on NOPA. A lot. So first things first, put the reverse continue up. So click News Trader. Turn the breakout into a reverse continue. And then I'll just put a couple of contracts on. Sometimes this report completely reverses too.
Says, I supported the Fed rate cut.
If it were acting normally, which we don't know, here's the other issue. There's two other issues I didn't mention. One, it's December. Historically, we always got stopped out. We almost always got stopped on this report in December. But the report's been behaving so poorly all year. And the second issue I was going to mention is supposedly the Chinese have bought some soybeans. So I think it changes the concept of what's going on. And that's why I'm willing to trade it. When normally, if it was a normal December, I probably would not. I'd only trade one contract. December. Today, I'll just take a normal trade because I think it's possible it could move because of the tariffs and the fact that China finally agreed to buy some soybeans after more than a year. They didn't buy a single bean last year. And like I said, I'm not talking politics, but it doesn't take a genius to know that tariffs are destroying the world economy. Well, you can see it every country. You could see it, all the companies going bankrupt here. And the first thing they mention, tariffs. Roomba, or is it iRobot? A vacuum, pretty big vacuum cleaner company today went out of business. Tariffs. So, you don't have to be a genius. All you have to do is look at history. Tariffs are a problem. Historically, they always were a problem, and they're a problem. Not saying I'm 100% against them, but there's a right way and a wrong way to implement anything that you do. Anything. And that's part of the issue. Reverse continuation. Two positions. One position, two contracts. If for some reason I get stopped out on my original trade and it's obvious that we got filled in the wrong direction, I will take a change in direction trade. I will. I don't know what I'm anticipating today. I don't know if we're going to get a normal move or if we're going to get weirdness, no fill. We don't know. Honest, we just don't know. I'm going to put a target of 25 ticks on, and I'll put a stop of 25 ticks on, and that's just a discretionary trade. That's all it is. And so I had lost money this morning on that account number 28, trading the YM, and I made most of it back taking a scalp short on the YM after the room closed. I don't like to trade outside of the room and make an announcement that I made money. I think that's kind of not fair. But we do have a scalp setup, and I know a lot of you scalp in the trade room, and there was an opportunity, so I just took it. But so that account is doing a little better. It's still negative, but it's only like negative $100. So it's better than 4. So reverse continuation. I'm going to trade it in that account. I'm working on that account all day. See if we can get it back to positive. This is a reverse continue, reverse ZL continue, and it's labeled. That's what I was doing, is labeling it. Reverse ZL continue, apply it, okay it, and then make sure your strategy tab is on. Let me get rid of everything I had left on from this morning. and then you turn on the strategy by checking the enabled box and put your chart trader on the account you're trading. I'm not happy that we've tested the low and that we're kind of close to the low. It makes it hard to break through the low because this is not a bursting, powerful market these days. We're not sure what's going to happen, but I think our bracket should be big enough to keep us on the right side of any move if there is a move. The question is, there may just be no response to the news. So we have a reverse continue, and then I will set up my breakout trade pretty much like the DMM. Right-click strategy, double-click news trader, breakout. The activation time is 11:59:59. I've never seen this trade trigger early. Maybe I'm thinking maybe once it triggered close to 12. Usually it's a little bit after. The bracket is 8. And we've got 2 positions, one for 6 ticks.
Headline speaking on CNBC says financial markets care about outcomes.
One for
not the
20
motives
ticks.
of the policymakers.
And the stop is 20 ticks. And I will use a target 1 stop move. If my first target gets hit, I'll move my stop to break even -2. And I can't believe Rob Reiner's son killed them both. They arrested his son, the drug addict, ex-drug addict son, who probably is still a drug addict. That's my guess. Knowing a little bit something about drug addicts. That is a shame. Rob Reiner, he was 78, but he was pretty with it for a 78. I mean, he just did Spinal Tap 2 that no one cared about. But did you realize that he directed one of the greatest movies of all time? Beside, not counting Stand By Me, which is one of the greatest movies of all time. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. Maybe the most famous movie line ever, except for I'll make you an offer, I'll make him an offer he can't refuse. A Few Good Men. I didn't realize he directed that. He was talented. And then, he had some romantic comedies that were pretty good. Spinal Tap, the original, was pretty funny.
Headline says future descents depend on the policy decisions.
Pretty sad. I mean, how does a kid kill parents? What was going on there? I can't even think about that. So I sent my son a text. I asked him, do I have to be worried? Oh, do I have to be worried? He got the joke, which I thought was pretty good. All right, we're triggering this trade at 11:59:59. And I'm going to put the time on 0. Is anybody out there? No one has mentioned one word in this trade room. Not a word. Except Francis said hello. That's it. Putting the time on 0 because I'm just going to check the bracket in Sim. All right, Francis, it's just you and me. You're the only one. You're the only one. Now I know there's people here. All right, Nin, I know you're here.
Data dependence is too backwards looking. Will lead to bad decisions because of lags.
All right, so we're going to look at
order submitted.
Look at the bracket. Should this trade trigger? All right. Now, soybean oil is negative. It's pretty
Order
bearish.
canceled.
It's pretty bearish today. If you look at it, let's turn off both these trades for a moment. They need to be labeled properly. Strategies. The reverse continue is labeled. The breakout needs to be labeled. Not news trader, but BRK for breakout. Soy. All right. And now we can put it on the right account. 28. Apply it and OK it. But before I turn the trades on, let's take a look at and I'm just laughing at what you wrote. That's like so typical prop trading. Blew up an account, took a you only live once
Just moving
trade.
on.
I mean,
Sorry, tomorrow.
the habits, prop accounts create the worst trading habits known to man. I'm sorry. They create horrifying trading habits. And we all do it. We all do it. 15-minute. This is what concerns me about this report. There's been a very big negative move. Very big negative move. So I don't know if there's room to move anymore on the downside. It's below S3. That's a lot. That's asking a lot to go further down than S3. My gut feeling is we're going to head long on this report, but you never know. Obviously, we never know. Let me reset my bracket. We have a couple of minutes. I told everybody no heroes this week. This could be a tough week because we had a tough start to the week already. Sometimes when you have these kinds of weeks, things don't work that have been working all year. That's why a lot of professional traders, they just disappear for these next 2 weeks. They don't trade them.
Order submitted.
All right, so we have a good bracket. All right, I'm not crazy about selling below the low of the day.
Order
I
canceled.
may not allow this trade to go short. I might not allow it. Hold on one second. Okay. So too many things going on. Let me get this straightened away. So let's put our order, our strategy, the time on the breakout back to 11:59:59. So let's see. Bracket of 8, position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1, targets of 6 and 20, stop of 20. All right. Don't forget to choose the account you're trading on, apply it and okay it. Put your chart trader on that account so that you see your orders. Otherwise, you won't see the orders. I'm going to put a reverse continue. Don't forget to turn on your trades also. Putting a reverse continue on soybeans, but I don't expect very much movement on soybeans. It usually doesn't move much on this report. Soybeans are 12.50 a tick. We'll put a 15 tick target. We'll put a 15 tick stop. Just a discretionary trade. I'll throw it up in the same account. Not anticipating taking it, and I'll call it beans, BRK, beans reversal. Apply it, okay it, turn it on. All right, so the question is, are we going to get a fill in our soybean oil trade? That's the question. All right. So waiting now. We got a couple of minutes. We are streaming this on YouTube also. And I have food being delivered. What else? What else could go wrong? I'm in the middle of surgery also. It's the only thing not going on, surgery. Okay. Thanks for the folks that are watching us on YouTube. There's a few of you out there. Al, it's a reversal continuation. It's got two buttons, long or short, so we could either take a reversal depending on the direction of the trade or go in the continuation mode. When you put the reversal continuation on the chart, it gives you both directions. That's why it's a reversal continuation and it's a discretionary choice. Okay? That's it. It's basically a simple scalp with protection. So it's protection because you've got stops and targets. You're not just jumping randomly into the market without protection. All right. 45 seconds until the theoretical news. And like I said, there's no calendar. There's no calendar on this. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think I want to be filled short because I'm not sure it can go far enough. But I suppose it could break the low and go 10 or 12 ticks. It could probably do that. So, it was like oil this morning. Oil was kind of at the low when we got ready to trade, and it was still a low. It was still a short.
Order submitted.
Now, that's the
Order
news.
submitted.
So, I mean, you have to let that fill. I have to let that fill. It's either going to follow through to the first target or it's not. I mean, but that was news that was clearly short. Clearly, it was a news move to the downside. So now, if we don't get follow through, we'll get stopped. And I might not stick around very long in this trade on the short side. I'm prepared to hit the close button and go long because I'm not so sure we're going to get that follow through. We're too low. I'm definitely worried that we're too low. All right. So what I would do here, um, what I would consider is using our combine feature, which will combine this order with our initial target. Because I don't think we're going to get to target 2. I just don't think there's enough power in this market to the downside. So I'm actually going to use the combine button to combine the orders. So now both my orders are sitting here. If we get a little bit of follow through to the downside, I'll take it. Now, if it keeps going down a little bit, I'll try to move my orders a little bit, but I'm tempted to just take a tiny profit here because just the nature of this event. I'm just concerned over the fact that it's so low, it's gone down so much, it just doesn't have the impetus to keep going. Now, you know what you could do? You could move your stop to break even, and you could expand your target a few extra ticks. Now, no matter what happens, it's a teeny tiny loser. Now, I'm going to trail. Now I'm going to trail. No matter what now, I can't lose. It might be a $20 winner. I'll make my target. I'll leave my target where it is. I'd be shocked if it gets to my target. I don't think it will. I think it'll turn around on us and just give us a small profit. It's too extended. That's the problem. It's just too extended. Sometimes, and I mean, that's why Calvin took a couple of short only trades. I don't like to outthink the market, to overthink the market, but this is almost obvious, you know? It's almost obvious.
US's Atlantic says that the US has priority access to Korea zinc products in 2026.
So if it goes down a tick, if it makes a new low, I'll let it take me out of this trade. Okay? If it makes a new low, it's going to take me out. If it goes down another tick, I'm going to trail another tick. But it just went up to one tick away from me.
As a reminder, reported earlier on in the
Soybeans
Order
did
filled.
nothing.
7.9
All right,
of
so
critical
it took
minerals
me out.
counter China.
Small profit. It was like 48 bucks.
In Tennessee, investment.
I'm okay with it.
We'll
It
pop
filled
another feed for
short.
you
The
as we
news
go live
pushed
with
it
the
short.
Script.
It may wind up going up now. There might be a reversal trade. There's a signal for the reversal. It's just such a quiet market right now. I don't know if I want to take it. And I have a webinar at noon, so I'm not going to take a trade and sit for 20 minutes to make $35. I'm just not doing it. Let me give you all the link if you want to come to the webinar. We have our final orientation for the challenge today. It's not really all that big a deal. Most of you, if you signed up initially for the orientation, you're basically signed up. I'll send everyone the link later today, the class link. In fact, you know what? I'll give you the class link right now. Most of you, if you're new here, you already did it, so you don't have anything to do. Here's the link for the classes that start tomorrow. All right, so this trade for me is over. Small profit. I think we did a good job of managing a very difficult situation. There was not a lot of opportunity because the market was so extended. We got a little bit of cooperation with that continued low. So that helped. That helped. It made a couple of new lows.
Germany Chancellor Merz says
I'm
Europe
going to
has
say
broken
goodbye
the
to our
deficit
YouTube
of only
streamers. Thanks for
7.3%
joining us.
since the
Appreciate it.
qualified
Hit the
majority.
like button,
All alternatives need to
and we'll
be
see you